Hello students, today we will take up the third chapter from your textbook Hornbill. The title of the chapter is Discovering Tut. The saga continues. This chapter has been written by A.R. Williams. A.R. Williams for a long period of time worked as a senior editor for National Geographic magazine. She wrote on a number of topics which included history and archaeology. William received a BA in Classical and Near Eastern Archaeology from Brian Morrow College. She traveled around the world to study and write about the subjects that were dear to her. Now, before beginning the reading of the chapter, I will give you a quick introduction of the chapter. This chapter, Discovering Tut, the saga continues, is about the last heir, the last descendant of the powerful Pharaoh dynasty, Tutankhamun, who died when he was a teenager after ruling for 9 years. He died in a mysterious way, and this chapter throws light over all the possible mysteries, such as the curse, where his tomb lies, his life, and ultimately death. Egyptians believe that there is life after death, and that is the reason why the pharaohs were buried with wealth and everyday use items. Let us now begin reading the chapter. He was just a teenager when he died, the last heir of a powerful family that had ruled Egypt and its empire for centuries. He was laid to rest laden with gold and eventually forgotten. Since the discovery of his tomb in 1922, the modern world has speculated about what happened to him, with murder being the most extreme possibility. Now, leaving his tomb for the first time in almost 80 years, Tut has undergone a CT scan that offers new clues about his life and death, and provides precise data for an accurate forensic reconstruction of the boyish pharaoh. So here in this paragraph, the author tells us about Tutankhamun, also known as Tut, who was a teenager when he died, and he was the last successor, the last inheritor of his powerful Pharaoh dynasty, which ruled Egypt and its empire for centuries. Then it is told to us that Tut, when he died, he was laid on rest. He was heavily loaded with gold, so he was buried with a lot of gold adorned over his body. His body was decorated with gold. Now his tomb, the place where he was buried, was discovered in 1922, which made the world raise a question about what happened to him and whether he had been murdered or he had a natural death. Now, after almost 80 years, Tut's body was about to undergo a CT scan, which would give new information and clues about his life and death, the actual reason of his death. Then it's said in the text, and provides precise data for an accurate forensic reconstruction of the boyish pharaoh, which means that King Tut's face would be recreated with the help of a procedure called forensic reconstruction. Further, let us read. An angry wind stirred up ghostly dust devils as King Tut was taken from his resting place in the ancient Egyptian cemetery known as the Valley of the Kings. Dark-bellied clouds had scudded across the desert sky all day and now were wheeling the stars in cascade grey. It was 6 p.m. on 5th January 2005. The world's most famous mummy glided headfirst into a CT scanner, brought here to probe the lingering medical mysteries of this little understood young ruler who died more than 3,300 years ago. So, after King Tut's mummy was taken out of his grave, there started a fast, strange, and unnatural wind. Okay. Now, King Tut's body was taken out from his grave called Valleys of Kings, an ancient Egyptian cemetery. So, the location of the Valley of the Kings is given in here on page number 24. Okay. So, then what happened? When the body was taken out of the grave after so many years, when he was laden in the grave, it is said dark-bellied clouds had scudded. Scudded here means moved quickly. The dark clouds moved very quickly across the desert sky, and later it is said that the dark clouds were now wheeling the stars in cascade grey. So it means that the grey clouds were like grey colored casket, and they had covered the whole sky. They had covered all the stars which were present there in the sky. Okay. Further, it is said that on January 5, 2005 at 6 p.m., King Tut's mummy, which is the world's most famous mummy, it was placed in the CT scanner to investigate the mystery behind his death, which had occurred more than 3,300 years ago. Okay, so the basic aim of putting King Tut's mummy under the CT scanner was to know the reason why and under what circumstances this young king died. Further, let us read. All afternoon, the usual line of tourists from around the world had descended into the cramped, rock-cut tomb some 26 feet underground to pay their respects. They gazed at the murals on the walls of the burial chamber and peered at Tut's gilded face. The most striking feature of his mummy-shaped outer coffin lid. Some visitors read from guidebooks in a whisper. Others stood silently, perhaps pondering Tut's untimely death in his late teens, or wondering with a shiver if the pharaoh's curse, death or misfortune falling upon those who disturbed him, was really true. So here it is said that all afternoon tourists visited the 26 feet deep underground rock-cut tomb in order to pay respect to the king. Okay, and many people, it is told that many people, they stuffed into the small tomb. They were all entering into the tomb and they looked in admiration at the murals. Murals here mean the paintings which were painted over the walls, okay, on the walls of the chamber. And they also took a look at the face of Tut that had been painted with gold. Okay, it is said Tut's gilded face. So here, gilded means the face was covered with a very thin sheet or coating of gold. It was all decorated with gold. So people were also observing the face of Tut that had been painted with gold. Okay, also, while the visitors read the guidebooks, they read it in a very hushed tone. Okay, they were not very much loud, they were reading in a very hushed tone. And some of the visitors stood there over there silently, thinking and wondering about the young King Tut's untimely death in his teen years. Okay, now it's said that these visitors might also be wondering if the curse of the pharaoh, which leads to the descent of misfortune, would fall upon the people whoever disturbed his mummy. So basically they didn't wanted to disturb the king's mummy by creating any kind of noise. Okay, further let us read. The mummy is in very bad condition because of what Carter did in the 1920s, said Zahi Hawass, Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, as he leaned over the body for a long first look. Carter, Howard Carter, that is, was the British archaeologist who in 1922 discovered Tut's tomb after years of futile searching. Its contents, though hastily ransacked in antiquity, were surprisingly complete. They remain the richest royal collection ever found and have become part of the pharaoh's legend. Stunning artifacts in gold, their eternal brilliance meant to guarantee resurrection, caused a sensation at the time of the discovery and still get the most attention. But Tut was also buried with everyday things he would want in the afterlife: board games, a bronze razor, linen undergarments, cases of food and wine. So in this paragraph, what do we come to know? The author says, as Zahi Hawass, who was the Secretary General of Egypt, as he leaned over the body to have a look, he said that the mummy was in a very bad condition. The mummy of King Tut, it was in a very poor and bad condition because of what? The person Howard Carter, who was the British archaeologist. So the mummy was in a bad condition because of what the British archaeologist Howard Carter did to it in the 1920s. In 1922, it's said. So he discovered King Tut's tomb in 1922, Howard Carter, after a long and futile search. Okay, he was finally able to find it. Now the contents and the valuable treasures of Tut had been explored earlier too, but surprisingly they were all complete and nothing was stolen up from his treasures which were buried with him in the coffin. Now the author also mentions that the treasure found at Tut's grave is the richest till date. Up till now it is considered as the richest, and it has come to be known as the Pharaoh's legend. Okay. Now Pharaoh is the term used for the ancient Egyptian rulers. Okay. Further, it's told that Tut's grave also has had artifacts in gold, which are told to be eternally beautiful. They were very much beautiful, and these artifacts still catch the attention of people who get to see them, whoever visits King Tut's tomb. See, the people of ancient Egypt, they believed that the soul of a dead person will return to the same body, and since the kings of Egypt were so rich, therefore they were also buried with all the valuable items. Okay, thinking that they might be needing all those items after their death. Resurrection is the term used. Resurrection means restoration of life. So they were all buried with the needful items that they might need after life. This was what happened with King Tut's mummy also. He was buried with various other things, okay, when he died. Now, what all things was Tut buried with? Tut was buried with things of daily use like a razor made of bronze, board games, linen undergarments, and boxes of food and wine, which he could use in the afterlife. Okay, let us read further. After months of carefully recording the pharaoh's funerary treasures, Carter began investigating his 3 nested coffins. Opening the first, he found a shroud adorned with garlands of willow and olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflowers, the faded evidence of a burial in March or April. When he finally reached the mummy, though, he ran into trouble. The ritual raisins had hardened, cementing Tut to the bottom of his solid gold coffin. No amount of legitimate force could move them. Carter wrote later what was to be done. So Carter took a few months to record the pharaoh's funerary treasures found in Tut's grave. Funerary treasure means the valuable things with which the king was buried, okay, in the coffin, in the grave. So then Carter began investigating his 3 coffins, which it's told that they were nested one in another. Now these 3 nested coffins were placed one in another in order of decreasing size, and the innermost coffin, which was the smallest one, had the body of the young King Tut. Okay, so it was basically in 3 layers. So in the first coffin, what Carter found a shroud. Shroud is a piece of cloth in which a dead person is wrapped, and this shroud was adorned with garlands of willow. Garlands of willow means a wreath, a crown kind of thing made of flowers and leaves. So when after this, with garlands of willow, then it had olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflower. These all things suggested that King Tut had been buried in the months of either March or April. Now when Carter reached the 3rd coffin, he was in trouble. Why? Because the body had hardened due to the raisins which had cemented the body, and the body had stuck to the bottom of the coffin, which was made of gold. So the coffin was made of gold, and because of the raisins, the body had been lying under the coffin since years. Okay, and after so many years, when Carter tried to take out the body, because of the raisins which were applied on the mummy, on the dead body, because of that the raisins in so many years had hardened, and it was all cemented, it was all hardened, and it was not coming out of the coffin. Okay, now Carter wondered what to do next, because no amount of force, of legitimate force, it is told, legitimate is reasonable, so no amount of force could separate the body of King Tut from the coffin. Okay, further let us read. The sun can beat down like a hammer this far south in Egypt, and Carter tried to use it to loosen the raisins. For several hours, he set the mummy outside in blazing sunshine that heated it to 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing budged. He reported with scientific detachment that the consolidated material had to be chiseled away from beneath the limbs and trunk before it was possible to raise the king's remains. So what happened next? When Carter could not separate the king's body from his coffin, then next thing that Carter did was that he tried to loosen the raisins by keeping the body in the hot sun. Okay, now we all know that the temperature in Egypt is a lot, very hot. So he kept the mummy in 149 degrees Fahrenheit, which is around 65 degrees Celsius. So under 65 degrees Celsius or 149 degree Fahrenheit of heat, he kept the king's mummy. Okay, and this he did for several hours. For several hours the mummy was kept in that much heat, and still what happened, it remained stuck in the coffin. So this much amount of heat also could not separate the mummy, the body, from the coffin. Then finally he decided to report that a chisel could be used to cut down the mummy from the limbs and the trunk, the lower area, so that the Tut's body, that king's body, could be taken out of the coffin. This was what he finally decided. Let us read further. In his defense, Carter really had little choice. If he hadn't cut the mummy free, thieves most certainly would have circumvented the guards and ripped it apart to remove the gold. In Tut's time, the royals were fabulously wealthy, and they thought or hoped they could take their riches with them. For his journey to the great beyond, King Tut was lavished with glittering goods, precious collars, inlaid necklaces and bracelets, rings, amulets, a ceremonial apron, sandals, sheets for his fingers and toes, and the now iconic inner coffin and mask, all of pure gold. To separate Tut from his adornments, Carter's men removed the mummy's head and severed nearly every major joint. Once they had finished, they reassembled the remains on a layer of sand in a wooden box with padding that concealed the damage. The bed where Tut now rests. So, in his defense, what Carter said, that according to Carter, he had no choice other than to cut the mummy, and he believed that if he hadn't done that, if he hadn't cut the mummy into different halves or pieces, then the thieves would have removed the gold from Tut's tomb and they would have looted it. Okay. Further, it is told that during Tut's time, the royal people were very wealthy, and they had this belief that after their death, the dead could take along the wealth and other valuables which were buried with them in the coffin. Okay, this is why King Tut's mummy also had different valuables buried with him in his coffin. Now next, the readers are told that for King Tut's after death, he was buried with precious collars. What all things were there in the coffin of King Tut? There were precious collars, necklaces with decorative patterns, bracelets, rings, amulets, ceremonial aprons, sandals, sheets for fingers and toes, and now an iconic inner coffin and a mask made of gold. So Carter's men removed Tut's head and every joint of his body, and after they finished all this, then they again reassembled the remains of the mummy in a wooden box, and they also used this padding filled with a layer of sand in order to conceal and cover up the damage which they caused because of the removing of different joints and chiseling of the body from the coffin. Okay, and then it is told that it is now the place where King Tut's mummy, or we can say King Tut, now rests. So we'll cover up only till here in this session. I want you all to reread the paragraphs that we have covered today. Mark the difficult words and note down the doubts that you have. We'll discuss all your doubts in the next session. Thank you, everyone.